What up, guys? That Comic Awesome here, doing another review, doing Old Man Hawkeye number 3. And, yeah, it was alright. So far, this series has been really good. Now, I say so far, I mean, we're 3 issues in. To me, issues 1 and 2 were, like, really good. This one, kind of a letdown, but all is forgiven because in a 12-issue limited run, not every issue is going to be a home run. And this is by no means a bad issue, but for me, it kind of, I don't know, it wasn't the greatest. A lot of the paneling seemed choppy, especially in kind of the main action sequence. And a lot of the story progression and cuts from scene to scene seemed a little disjointed, but I understand the reasoning why they were there. So the story thus far, Old Man Hawkeye takes place 5 years before Old Man Logan. It is 45 years into the future, where all of the supervillains have kind of organized under Red Skull, wiped out all the superheroes, and pretty much divvied up the United States amongst themselves. Pretty much, Hawkeye is one of the few heroes left because he was such not a hero that they pretty much were like, just let him live. He is going blind. He figures now that he is going blind, he has nothing left to lose, so he is going to kind of make one last suicide mission of revenge for everyone that kind of wronged him and turned their back on him. So you open up on this scene of this Captain America getting beat, by these kids dressed as villains. Well, I guess now they'd be the heroes, but you have Red Skull, Magneto, Doom, and Green Goblin. But it turns out it's just like a guy in a costume. You see here it says, take your picture, with the evil Captain America. He's getting his butt beat. And he's like, I just work here. So Clint had found kind of on his on his journey in the last issue, he came across some information that would lead him to this murder world, arcades and murder world, which is where he finds his his first, I wouldn't say victim, but the first person he's going to get his revenge on, which is a little bit of a neat tribute. You get your pretty good catch up, but this is where the story kind of gets choppy. So I liked this scene between Bullseye and Red Skull, because it's pretty much like Red Skull is, he's commanding one of his marshals to do a job, and he's like, I don't work for you. He's like, don't forget, you work for me. He's like, click. He's like, not today, I don't. I got bigger fish to fry. Get somebody else to do it. So, I mean, this is pretty much somebody who's in a place of authority in Red Skull's organization, pretty much disregarding him because he wants to go after Hawkeye by himself. I like the way they portrayed Hawkeye. Very Ben Kenobi-ish, He's, older. He's got the sweet brown hood, kind of gruff looking. He sees this seer who kind of says she knows him, and he's like, I don't know who you are. You're not, you obviously don't know me. And she's like, look, you're going down a road, and that road's only going to be bloody. If you continue down, revenge is never going to end, well. And he's like, well, only one way to find out. So and this is what I mean by choppy. So the first page you open up, you're in Murder World. Then you go to the Red Skull and Bullseye. Then you go back to Murder World. Then you're on this other scene where it's Hawkeye's ex-wife and this woman who had just come from the bar where Hawkeye was at last issue, and then you have the kind of the Madrox Venom, and they're just kind of there. Again, it just shows them in this issue just enough so you don't forget that they're there. And outside Madrox being pretty much destroyed, killed in the first issue, only to stumble upon the Venom symbiote, he has had like nothing going on. But I did like this. I will say the art in this issue is amazing, and the fact that this is one of the coolest looking Venoms to me, just because I like the fact his mouth, goes all the way back, but like you see it kind of connecting, like almost like it reminds me of Two-Face from The Dark Knight, where you could see into his mouth, but like his tendons were still hooked. Like, I just think that's a cool look, and I like that look for Venom. I think all of them kind of have that, where you can kind of see into his mouth from the side of his cheeks. And then we're back to Murder World. You get some good dialogue, and again, that's why this issue's not bad. There's a lot to unpack in the character interaction between Hawkeye and Atlas. You could tell there's, their past friendships, being part of Thunderbolts, all means a lot, and it kind of comes into play. But, what this issue really lacks is just, to me, editing. And that's what I find a lot of times is a good book becomes an okay book, or a great book becomes an okay book when editing is not on point, and you have, again, just poor transitions, maybe some lazy stuff here and there, but it makes it clear that Atlas wronged Hawkeye by I think double-crossing his family back when this all kind of started. He's now making a living kind of being a circus freak here in this in this carnival atmosphere, and Clint's like, I'm gonna kill you. And this is where, again, we get into some poor editing of choppy paneling. So you get this really awesome panel of Atlas kind of using his power, growing over Hawkeye. They start fighting, but then you get this. So he backs into these bottles. Then he's kind of just like, this hand is coming in out of nowhere, and Clint's falling, but then like he's falling back into the bottles, and then it's just really choppy of trying to like, okay, now he's, he tries to squish him, he stabs him, but then he stabs him, and then like by the next panel, like he's already all the way over here away from so and then he goes and climbs through this roller coaster. And it's just, again, some very choppy scenes. But I do like this. So he gets him, and he just tells Hawkeye, do it. And so he's sitting there for a minute. And I did really like this, because it shows kind of that friendship. So it's like, he's like, do it. Hawkeye sits there for a second. And again, he remembers. They kind of showed this panel of like, we were friends, we were partners, we were buddies, and then he just lets go. But this is what I don't like. So here's the panel after. So Atlas is dead, right? If you look, there we go. There's the arrow sticking out of his eye. I'm not gonna lie, that wouldn't kill a person, especially a giant. Now, I would get if he, I don't understand the logistics of that. Like, how does an arrow that barely is sticking in your eye kill you? Unless it was, I don't know, laced with some poison or something. But it doesn't say, just looks like a regular arrow. I don't know. Again, to me, a little bit of a poor edit on that. Again, great series. I'm not giving up on it. I don't expect 12 issues to be amazing every time. You're going to have some flat issues that are slow burns, which are fine. When you say I'm doing, when you say you're doing a 12 issue series, that's a long time. That's a year. You're expecting this to last a year. But yeah, it was okay. I still highly recommend the series. Check it out. Subscribe over here. Watch some more videos. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. And I'll see you next time.